This report brought to you by the Richmond Club, where investors and high-growth companies meet.
I'm Galit Solomon for the Richmond Report, and joining me today is the President and CEO of Cuda Oil and Gas, Glenn Dawson. Glenn, thank you for joining me.
Great to be here, Galit.
Let's start off with an overview of the company. What can you tell us about it?
Great. Well, Cuda Oil and Gas is a newly formed public company. We just completed a takeover of a Canadian public, and we wanted to access capital markets and move our oil and gas exploration business into a very profitable area of the United States in Wyoming called the Powder River Basin. So we're very, very active in there right now. We've got a great conventional and a burgeoning unconventional horizontal play that we're going to be developing in 2019. So we're moving.
One of the questions on investors' minds usually when they're looking at a potential stock that they're looking to invest in is who is at the helm of the company.
Right.
So what can you tell us about you and your experience?
Right. Well, I'm an exploration geologist with 40 years experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a graduate of Weber State out of college, out of Utah, and I went to Calgary and was enrolled in the master's program there in 1980, and I've lived in Calgary ever since. So basically, when I was a grassroots geologist, I started with a U.S. company, started drilling wells in Alberta, and I quickly made my craft and started to become an entrepreneur.
Right.
So after about 10 years, I started building companies. And basically our MO with me, myself, and my team, we've been together almost 30 years, is to build, grow, organic growth companies through the drill bit and sell them at proper exit points. And I've done that with 5 TSX listed companies.
Okay, so that leads me well into my next question, and especially considering the way the markets are moving right now, why should investors be considering this stock at this time?
That's a very good question. Well, as you know, the energy sector's had a really rough 6 weeks. We were just recovering from low oil prices and getting into a nice sweet spot. Mm-hmm. And now we're down to $52. I think we're actually in a super cycle for oil. I mean, when you've got an excess of 1 million barrels a day on consumption of over 100 million barrels, that's not a really big wedge. There are a lot of political dynamics happening in the world, and demand's growing, irrespective of what the markets did this week. Why is the stock an excellent entry point? Well, because of the assets we have, and I think the price. So you've got a management team that's heavily invested in the company. We own 35% of the stock. You've got a very low share count. You've got a growing, high netback, light oil play with multiple targets. And we just raised money. So what that tells you is that we're able to raise money in a very difficult time. Our shareholder base is diverse. We have excellent institutions involved, and they're loyal and very, very solid share base. So we could spend up to $30 million this year developing conventional, secondary recovery, and horizontal projects, and we expect to grow our production materially. We should be free cash flow in Q4, and we expect to exit 2018 at around 1,200 barrels a day, and we expect to exit 2020 around 2,500 barrels a day. So we're basically a lightweight oil skewed producer, and the netbacks are super high. So we don't have egress pipeline situations or problems like we do in Alberta. So I think we're in a really, really good spot.
And I've been speaking with the President and CEO of Cuda Oil and Gas, Glenn Dawson. I'm Galit Solomon for the Richmond Report.
This report brought to you by the Richmond Club, where investors and high-growth companies meet.